I certainly hope and pray that all is well with everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get into it. Okay. I don't think I want this like this. Wait a minute. I think that's why I want it. All right. Let me start over. Gonna start over. Well, maybe not. But anyway, welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get into it. I'm Kenyatta, the architect. On this channel, we destroy and build simultaneously, for there can be no resurrection without destruction. Once again, I'm Kenyatta, but you will refer to me as Miss, Ma'am, Goddess, Queen, Empress, High Priestess, or whatever I tell you to refer to me as. I have no enemies. The enemies of God have been defeated, but if God is both the creator of both the good and the evil, the dark and the light, God has no enemies. Ye are God's. Love and goodwill taken care of within eliminates that without. I will not tolerate anyone being disrespectful to me. Um, I'm hearing conning me. um, your bullying and your attacks and all of that type of shit. All right. Or anyone else who genuinely supports me on this platform. It's kind of early for me to be on here. It's 12:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Cleveland, Ohio. And I am off to work today because I don't know if you can hear a little congestion that I have going on, sinus pressure, all of that type of thing. I work, as I stated before, I'm a substitute. I work in elementary schools this school year, and man, oh man, the buildings have been lit with sickness. A lot of flu, teachers, students, a lot of that shit going on this school year. And usually, like I stated in one video I did, whenever I feel a little sore throat, and it's always on a Friday, leave, go get my orange juice, my airborne tablets. Emergency is real good. I haven't really used that. I haven't had any, and I'm out of my airborne tablets. I got to get some more. Dump it in that orange juice. Just drink on it, and honey lemon tea. Last time this thing came on me, I did that, and it cleared up for like a day, and then it was a lot of coughing, especially at night, which I found out are signs of like when your sinuses are bothering you, sinus infection. And I just could feel like, that, your sinuses are bothering you. So usually sometimes it's at the top of your head, or at least for me, top of my head. But this time it's on the sides, like with my cheek, upper, those cheekbones areas, upper area. And I have been in classrooms where it's like half the classroom is gone, because it's just been like a lot of sickness in the building, teachers, staff, and whatnot. And I figured today, I think I better continue to try to nurse this and rest. The most important thing I feel like, for especially when you had these colds, flu type things. Um, Good afternoon, whomever is in the room. The best thing is always rest. Definitely fluids, of course, but rest. And I like to just be on the go. It's just who I am. But anyway, so I said I'm gonna rest. I've got me some soup from a grocery store, my orange juice. I forgot to get my airborne in my emergency, but I may get back out there and get it. And listen, I put the airborne and the emergency together. A lot of times that will knock it out. One of my coworkers was telling me about Theraflu, I think he said they don't sell it anymore, but one of the teachers was talking about Tamiflu, where I think she had to the doctor gave her a prescription for Tamiflu. It knocked it out, but he was saying that Theraflu, you used to take that Theraflu, it knocked that shit right out immediately. He said, but they don't sell it anymore. And of course, I was thinking to myself, of course they don't sell it anymore. you know, um, it's Sheikah. Hi. Of course, they don't sell it anymore. If it immediately knocked it out, Of course, they don't sell it anymore. We need you to stay a sick a few more days, so we can drain your pockets dry, but of course, everything in this world costs, but, they don't want stuff to sometimes work right away. But sometimes, when you just always on the go, and like I said, my job is gravy. What I do is gravy, and I mean, it has its challenges. It has its challenges, of course, but, it's for the most part easy, but, it can still, even if you're just sitting at a desk all day long or whatever, it's still the body needs rest. That is what is the healer. you know as the body is healing, it needs to rest in order to heal, not be trying to do other things, when it needs to heal itself. So rest. So I said, well, I think I'm going to stay right here and allow myself to rest. I really don't have anything specific to talk about. I mean, kind of, sort of, but I haven't done a live in a while. We're just talking. I know I did one of, was it last week, about my adventures that week with subbing, but I do want to speak to that a little bit. Not so much subbing, but I there's so much negative talk about the school systems today and what teachers encounter in the schools with students and parents alike. Okay, more so you see the students, because the teachers are in direct contact with students. I'm sure there are videos and whatnot and talks about what the teachers encounter, or the schools, I'll just say, whether it's teachers, administration, whatever, encounter with parents as well. That's not to say that there aren't any problematic teachers or administrative staff in the schools. Um, the school systems is just out of shape. Okay, it's out of shape. It's I think it's horrendous right now. And I will say it once and I'll say it again: as much as I love working with children, and I do, much as I love watching them grow and develop, I love talking to them, having, um, especially the littles. It's so cute. When I say the littles, I mean like kindergarten. Um, it is just a horrendous institution right now, the way things are set up, the politics of it all. And I really don't know the politics of it all. I know enough. When I say I don't know the politics of it all, what I mean is I see and I hear exactly what is being filtered down, that the ideologies and whatnot that have to be pushed on to people that I think are completely ridiculous and unrealistic. But I don't know, the red tape and all that, in that I don't have to deal with it. And I don't know what's happening in offices higher than what in the school building, maybe even the superintendent's office. You understand what I'm saying? Governmental structures, so on and so forth, that they are determining this is what it's going to be for whatever reason. Some things that I hear and see, I understand, I feel like are, okay, that's good. That I'll look at it that way. That's good. That has some merit. Okay. Especially when I'm able to implement it. But some of it, a lot of it is just like, I'm just gonna say, it's just straight bullshit. It's like, what is the plan here? You know, what is the plan when you say, and this isn't just one school. This isn't just one school district. This is across the board. Okay. Um, you get, just like when I was working in New York and I had my teaching job in New York, I'm hearing the same talk everywhere. This thing with no consequences. I don't understand that, you know. And I don't think it's something that I'm supposed to understand. Good afternoon, who's ever in the room. I don't think it's something that I'm supposed to understand. It's just not logical. I don't understand how it's this. The way it's presented sometimes is presented in such a way as for people to feel guilty if they feel the need to punish, quote unquote, punish um, behavior that is not conducive to the student with the behavior, nor anyone, let alone anyone else around the student who is affected by the poor behavior. Well, or behavior that's not conducive to them or anyone else. I don't understand that. What do you mean? Um, no consequences. But one, I heard someone say, and I can agree with this, although I still have to see it in action. There are consequences. There's not the consequences that it may not appear as though there are consequences, or are not consequences that you all are used to. Well, what is? Well, show me what it is. You know, I've seen things and heard things. If the child is just out of fucking control in the classroom, um, you know, don't you can't send them out because they're supposed to be in there learning. Well, the child is not learning any fucking way. The child is causing an uproar in the room. They don't want to be learning. They want to be doing whatever, something else, acting out. Seems like there's an expectation, you know, for the teacher to do more than teach, like be a fucking therapist. Like that was kind of one job that I had a year or so ago. That was basically what they asked me to do, was to instead of having rules in my room, you want me to do a round table with the children and for them to share their feelings. Hell no, I'm here to teach English. I'm not here to be their therapist. And you damn sure ain't paying me enough money for that. You pay me the six figures for that, then we can, and I have the schooling for that, then we can talk about that. But I'm here to teach English. They barely know how to write their fucking names, and they're in the 11th grade. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay. And no, it's just this soft coddling type of thing. But yet, hello to the two people that are in the room, but yet when you live out in the world, there are consequences. When they leave that building, there are consequences for everything. That's just life. I mean, that's just life. So I'm not quite sure what kind of service are you offering a young person by telling them, whether verbally or non-verbally, that there are no consequences for their behavior. But when they go out in the world, there are. How are they ready to accept and deal with that? Unless maybe that's the way the whole world is going. I don't know. Your job, be late, it doesn't matter. There are no consequences. I mean, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? It takes a village. It's the whole of society, not just this particular institution or that particular institution, to ready its members for running the world or being a part as an adult. So, and there's this thing where quote unquote punishment is looked at as though it's a bad word or a bad thing. Well, okay. So I couldn't deal with it, as a teacher, when, I'm here to teach math, or I'm here to teach science. Of course, you're going to have some, behaviors that, you want to be prepared for, to, discipline. That word is looked at as a bad word, as though it's bad, as though it's wrong, as though it's evil, as though it's that some kind of harsh something or other you're putting down on the child. That's not it. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand. I'm clear. Oh, you're setting them up for failure. That's what's happening. And I have heard stories of Some of the young people who graduated lived in this system in school, graduated, and when they went out into the world, they could not handle it. They couldn't handle the idea that there were consequences. They couldn't handle these things because they were not prepared, were not equipped for them. And so, some of them chose to unalive themselves, okay? Or some are just non-functional. They just can't function in the world because they were not taught, they were not made ready for it. Obviously, apparently too, as well as in the home, you know. Well, one thing though, I think that is a disservice as well is, I came up, like I said, I'm born 1972. There was all of these politically incorrect, whatever. People said what it was. You know, unalive. You mean kill? What the fuck are you saying? Grape? You mean rape? What are you saying? Okay. I don't these things where people are afraid. What is the fear? What is the fear here of truth? Why are you afraid of a word? Yes, the word rape, that is something that is, terrible, egregious, whatever. But just because you put a G in front of it doesn't mean that you're saying basically the same fucking thing. But now you're calling it a fruit. It's ridiculous. But and this whole thing about people being triggered and all of that kind of silliness, as though, well, everyone's triggered by something. So you don't want people to be triggered so that people cannot heal. So they can bury these things that are, problematic issues for them. So they don't heal. Just bury it as though it's not there. Pretend like it's not there. And really it's up to that person to do the healing, to go whatever they need to do to heal themselves. It's up to them. But anyway, so, I am afforded the opportunity to work with students who have, some are autistic, some kind of developmental, developmentally challenged, where they might be behind developmentally. I get to work with all of those students. Special needs, like I said, I think one school I was working at was calling them extraordinarily gifted, and I have worked with students who thank you for the one thumbs up, who it's very obvious that I don't know what the diagnosis would be. I'm, I'm not a doctor, but there's an issue here that needs to be addressed. And there are some parents who refuse. They absolutely refuse to have the child diagnosed. Now you can have, it's just like if you feel like, maybe you feel sick, maybe you've been feeling sick for, I don't know, past the normal time. Maybe it's going on 3-4 months now, but you refuse to go to a doctor to get some kind of checkup and some kind of diagnosis. It'll pass, it'll pass, it'll pass. And, that motherfucker never passes. Maybe it gets worse, or maybe you try your natural shit. And I'm not saying natural remedies don't work, but I think we understand that the natural remedies take a long time. But especially if you don't know what it is, you may be trying to use a natural remedy for something that you think it is, and it's not that at all. And you may feel like, well, it's not working. Well, maybe because what you think you are naturally remedying is not what it is, because you haven't gotten a diagnosis from a medically trained professional who at least can take some tests, draw your blood, do some x-rays, whatever, take tests to determine this is what we see may be happening here. Okay, now you can go with the doctor's diagnose, whatever he or she says, we're going to give you this pill or that pill or whatever. Or, well, okay, I think I'm going to try now that I know what it is, I think I'm going to go try my natural remedy or whatever. Okay. Now, I have my chat open, and I only see one comment here, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm only saying that because one time I was doing a live and I didn't see somebody was commenting and just commenting, and I didn't even see it until I looked on my laptop. Like, well, shit, I didn't even see this person commenting here. Okay, so if there are comments here and I'm not responding, it's simply because I don't see them. Okay, but anyway, so I just think that, and because you have to understand, and it's not about the child, your child, but it's not about you. In that, why would a person not take the time to see if something, you know, um, get some kind of diagnosis? You go to the medically trained professional, and if they say, well, we don't see anything, there's nothing here that we can say, is quote unquote wrong or out of the range of what we would say is normal or average or whatever. Okay, whatever terminology you need to use to so you can absorb it and swallow it. Okay, then fine. At least you've gotten the diagnosis. At least you went to the doctor and got the diagnosis. And I mean, I know that can be hard when it's yourself personally, but damn sure hard when it's your child. But it's not a personal thing, but at the same time, what a great, hello, Cosmic Mystic, what a great disservice. What a great disservice if there's something there and you refuse to get the child diagnosed, because now you're not giving them the tools that they need, that child needs to be successful for themselves in this world. It's like you want to say, this, let's get past the stigma. Who gives a fuck about the stigma? Because if you don't give that child the tools that they need that are necessary for them, that child specifically, not you or what your friends think or what your family thinks or what anybody else thinks, what that child needs to be successful, that child is going to become an adult. That child has to live in the world as an adult, okay, with or without you. And hell, as predatory as this motherfucking world is, golly, there are sick people out there who would love to prey on those who have not, those who have particular issues, okay, and they don't have the tools that are necessary for them. They were never given the tools that were because these medically trained professionals and these communities, organizations, whatever the case, they have the tools. They've done the work, they've done the studies. Sure, they're continuing to study. Like lady who raised me, she was a nurse. She always talked about how they say they're practicing medicine. They damn sure are practicing medicine. They say that they're practicing medicine, meaning that they don't have all the answers, but they damn sure got more than you just sitting in your house and you have no fucking clue or no idea. And you see the child can barely walk at 10 years old, but you refuse, just using that as an example, but you refuse to go get them diagnosed and say, why can this child barely walk? Or how come when I call my child's name, they don't respond? Or how come this child is, 6 or 7 years old and they can't communicate? Their speech is garbled, but everyone around them, their speech is clear. Okay. You don't have the tools, and I'm not putting you down. You might, if if you're one of those medically trained professionals and you got the training, but they have the tools that's necessary. They can pinpoint exactly what it is. Hell, maybe sometimes it might be a vitamin deficiency, nothing more, nothing less. Oh, this child is deficient in this particular vitamin. We did the blood work and we see it here clearly. Oh, okay. So give them, they need more vitamin K, for example, that's going to help them blah, 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 A, B, C, and D. Okay. So we're going to load this child with vitamin K, and then you walk with, oh my God, they're so much better. They're so much better. They're doing wonderfully. Okay. Or maybe now, no, this child is on the spectrum here. Okay. And they need Okay, where are they at on the spectrum here? The child is nonverbal, or the child, I don't know all the. I'm learning some of these things, working in the schools and with children that have special needs. Okay, or no, this child may not be on the spectrum, but there's something is wrong with their motor skills, or whatever. That's why they're having a difficult time, when they walk, and we see that when we took this particular test. Oh, okay. And here's all the numbers and all the information for these particular organizations, the rehabilitation they need, so on and so forth. Okay. And this is going to be extremely helpful to them. If you see the child, if physically, maybe they are in need they have to be in a wheelchair or something like that, you wouldn't hesitate to get them what they need. But when it comes down to things in terms of their cognitive abilities, then there's some hesitation. Doesn't mean that the child is, I mean, why is that? I don't know. How is that supposed to be looked at? That a person would refuse to get the child diagnosed. Obviously negatively. Ain't nothing wrong with that boy. You're right. Ain't nothing wrong with that boy. Ain't nothing wrong with the girl, in the sense that the child is here. But there is a need here. Just like if a child needs glasses because they're nearsighted or they're farsighted. Whatever. Get them what they fucking need. Get them the diagnosis. Go have them diagnosed by a medically trained professional, so that they can have what they need, so that when they become an adult, they're not falling prey and victimized by all the bullshit out here in this fucking world, or they don't make victims because nobody took the time to say, I don't know why this child, it's been angry since they came out the fucking womb, and they've been putting holes in the goddamn wall and all kind of craziness at the age of 2. Okay, something is here. Let's find out, so this child can have the tools they need, so either they don't become a victim or they don't victimize, and so that they can be successful human beings. Out in the world. And just, shun it, and try to make the issues disappear. The motherfucking issues aren't going anywhere. They're going to grow with the child. And they're probably going to increase if nothing is done to help them. Just like I said, when your knee hurts, you're getting older, your knees fucking hurt. Okay. After a while, let's go to the doctor and see what the fuck is wrong with my fucking knees. Oh, you have a little arthritis in them. Okay. Well, what do I need to do? Here's some options. Here's some options. I know sometimes, like, we may not want to go to a doctor, but they're there for a fucking reason, and they have the training that your average person who's not in that field, they don't have that particular training. Now, I'm not saying every time any little thing come up, run to the doctor. I think that's ridiculous too. I've seen that. It's like, oh my God, the child barely coughed and you running them to the goddamn doctor. I have seen that. It's like, bitch, you fucking crazy. Every time the child cough or sneeze, you running them to the doctor. Okay, I'm not talking about things like that. Okay, but I'm talking about when we see these extremes here, these special needs. There's a need here that this child has. Okay, And in maybe your pride, your ego, your fear, definitely fear. I can definitely understand that a person is afraid. Fear. You don't want to take them to get checked out. Let me just be sure. Let me see. Okay. And then the whole world that is created around that. When you find out what the diagnosis is, there's organizations, there's all kinds of, there's money out there for this particular thing. There's all kind of shit out there. As a matter of fact, they've got support groups. They got groups over there for children with that. They can all get together and enjoy one another. I mean, it's just, you discover it's a whole world and realm you didn't know anything about. And then you find out the success rate of those children with that particular diagnosis, who have gotten the help they need. And the success rate is just like off the charts versus the rate of failure when they have not, whatever quote unquote failure might be, when they have not been diagnosed, when they have not been given the opportunity. And it's pretty damn selfish to do that to your child, but also, you have refused to give them what it is they need based off of your own personal issue, of your fear, your pride, your ego, whatever the case may, be in that regard. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with that, but ain't nothing wrong with that girl. And clearly, there's something there. That's not to say that you have to treat them like, I don't know, like an invalid or like they're subhuman. Of course they're not. Okay. Well, and it's nothing new. Hell, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything we see now has always been. But you do see when people become adults, you can see, like, you sit there and think, you've come across people, grown folks, like something wrong with them. I'm saying something ain't right. People want to say, well, maybe they're on drugs or something like that. And sometimes it's not enough. They ain't on drugs. They might be, but it ain't about drugs or any kind of substance abuse or anything like that. This sometimes they're what they call people or children who slip through the cracks, or basically whoever their caregivers were refused to get them the necessary care that, has been afforded to them. So anyway. And you it's not something that you can always, not always, it's not something that you can always just look at the child and see it. Sometimes, no, there's no sign of it in how they look. No, we're not talking about necessarily a child with Down syndrome or something like that where you can look in the face and see. No, sometimes you won't know till the child has opened their mouth. Sometimes you won't know until you see the behavior or how the child, handles, the issues of being a human being, anger, or whatever the case may be. When they become unhinged, like, or overstimulated, that's not so much unhinged, overstimulated, then you can see, wait a minute. Or their reasoning skills, how they're able to reason and how they reason, what they reason, which is like that's not, or for those who have done, what do you call it? Human development, doctors who've done the research on human development, and what we see is quote unquote normal for, particular age ranges from infancy all the way up until, very old age. these particular things, these steps, usually happen at these certain points in life. At this point, this is what we see. At that point, that is what we see. Like, I might have mentioned it once, I can't remember, but my daughter, she started playing piano, I think when she was 4 or 5. So I take her to the piano lesson. The piano teacher wanted parents to stay in the lesson. So her very first day, she was asking my daughter, like I said, I think she was 4 or 5, if she could do certain things. Well, she couldn't do it, and I got worried. And the teacher told me no, that she should not be able to at her age, because the teacher, I think I mentioned this on some video, the teacher had stated that well, she had studied childhood development. And I asked her, I said, well, why did you ask her to do it? And she said, because some children can, most of them can't. They're not supposed to be able to do this particular thing at this age. They don't, the brain has not fully developed to that point yet. But you can see. So if you are a teacher, you've been working with first graders, for example, for the last 5 years. Of course, they have to study, I'm sure, childhood development as well. And, well, I would think, shit, I don't know, and but that would only make sense. But they, I've been working with them for 5 years, and so they understand at this particular age, this is how the human being expresses itself. This is what the human being knows at this point. This is what the human being is able to do. Their fine motor skills are at this place, at this point in stage in life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, then they got the physical, the mental, the emotional, all of that. These are what we see. From the greater, I'll say that as opposed to normal, from the greater. Okay. And then all of a sudden there's a child that comes in that can't do some of those things, or they are not at that point yet. Or maybe they have far surpassed that point even. Maybe they have far surpassed that point in one particular area and completely under in all the rest of the areas. Okay. That does not fall into the range, okay, of the majority, okay, or the greater. I'll just say majority. Let's continue to look and see what we see. Maybe there was an overstimulation. Maybe they're understimulated. Maybe they're bored as fuck. Is it a personality trait? So on and so forth. Then after so many times of being observant and watching and paying attention, then we can see, okay, this has been consistent for the last how many days, okay? Someone probably should be notified, because the child may fall in this category. Okay, and there are some tools that are available to them to assist them with this particular need. Some tools that are there to give them the care that is available to them, so that they can, function in a way that is going to be beneficial to them and those around them, as opposed to ain't nothing wrong with them and just leave them with nothing. It's like seeing that a child is deaf and refusing to teach them sign language, and refusing to have them in a world of others who are deaf, who have hearing, those challenges, so that they can be in a community. Not saying they shouldn't be in a community with people who can hear, but so they can also be in a community with others that are like them, which everyone wants. Okay? And then they just go on the rest of their life, can't hear shit, don't have no way to communicate. Or a child who is blind and you refuse to teach them Braille. Okay, and refuse to get them, the tools that they need, so that they can, how they have the dogs, or they have the sticks, I forget what they call them right now, okay, so that they can maneuver through life independently and take care of themselves. Okay. It's not fair to the child. And it's not fair to the community of others who the child will come across, and as a child nor as an adult. So, and I've worked with students like that. It's like talking to the teachers, and it's like, well, and here it is. Oh, their parents refuse they absolutely refuse to get them any kind of diagnosis. They won't take them to the doctor or anything to get them diagnosed. And I'm like, but it's kind of obvious here. I know, but they won't do it. And it's like, wow. Okay. Anyway, got this cough. Yeah, they won't do it. I think I know, like in this society we give, well, no, I'm not going to say that. In some ways, I mean, there's been so much that we see in this world that is predatorial and negative, so sometimes we may look at the medical institution as predatorial. I mean, and it has its, I think that every institution, everything has its both its positives and negatives. No, I do not agree that, a child acting up and acting a goddamn fool should not receive some kind of consequence. No, I don't. Okay, ridiculous. People in the society, adults, if they out there acting the goddamn fool, doing illegal shit and whatever, there's a fucking consequence. So what the fuck are you talking about? I don't agree with that. However, I do find that as opposed to the what's the word I'm looking for? What could come off as I forget the word, challenging a child in a way that is belligerent, and harsh, and just do what the fuck I tell you to do, shut up, sit down. That type of energy I don't think is conducive at all as well. Sometimes, depending on the child, depending on the situation, okay, that might work. And I don't mean it in with cuss words and all that kind of stuff, okay? Just the do what I say, do. It need not be one extreme or the other. Sometimes I feel like and I think I said this before, I'm sure I did, but talk to this child. Like, there are some children that I've worked with who are special needs. And even those who aren't, okay, who don't quote unquote fall in that category, okay? But then you might have some children who there's somewhere in there. Something's going on here, okay? We're talking about outside of the classroom, maybe from home, maybe within their physical body, spiritual body, whatever the case. And they might be kind of violent in how they express themselves, especially, oh my goodness, children who when you see them, like, especially like they're in kindergarten, first grade or something, they get so mad, so angry, like if they do something and it's quote unquote wrong. Oh, tear the paper up and just be mad as hell, because, it's like they're upset because they feel, I feel like they're feeling like I'm a failure. I failed. Okay. And you don't know if the child is being called stupid and all of that kind of stuff outside of that room. Okay. By the caregivers or maybe older siblings or whatever the case may be, I mean, I've seen it, of course, in more than kindergarten, 1st grade. Shit, I've seen it all the way up in middle school. And they get to banging the desk and punching the computer and banging the computer. It's like, oh my God, what is wrong? I got it wrong. Okay, well, we don't have to respond like that. It's okay to get it wrong. We're supposed, if you don't understand, you're supposed to get it wrong so you learn how to get it right. Why would, there's no need for you to think and believe that something that you're learning or that you don't know that you have to have it right the first time. Of course not. We learn. And we learn, and then we can learn this together. You calm the spirit now. You're not a failure. Okay, you don't want to put a label to yourself like that. Okay. Usually by the time they're in high school, 11th grade, whatever, the response still might be anger, but the anger may be turned to more. I think the word may be like sullen, like just within, like low, carrying their head, walking with their head down, just acting out in such a way like, what difference do it make? If I change, I've always failed. I've never gotten it right. I don't, I never understand that type of thing. But I find sometimes, like, if you talk to them gently, they are more responsive with gentleness. Because I had one student I had to work with the other day. Woo! And this little boy is scary. Okay. Scary. Well, like he told one of his teachers, I'm going to come back and get revenge on you in 10 years. And this child is in the kindergarten. I was like, that little boy might mean that shit. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to work with him, and I was like, man, soon as, because his normal para was not there, so I was subbing for the para, and he saw me. He didn't know who I was at first. And he was doing, and he had a sub too. The teacher was a sub. So he was doing something that he wasn't supposed to do. And I said, okay, let's go to, I told him who I was, and let's go to OT. I have to do this. I have to do this. His morning work, I had to talk to him. I was like, okay, the old me who, if I was subbing, if I had just started subbing and walked in that room, I would have been like, because I hadn't worked with them. Oh, me, I'm just new subbing, working with children. My old thought would have been, boy, you better come on, I ain't got time for this, But after working with them for so long and being observant, especially there are some teachers, they're excellent with, oh my gosh, I have seen some teachers they're so good at how they communicate with the students. And they get so much out of them. It's just amazing. So I just kind of eye level, let me get rid of my stuff. And you don't do what I say do. Because that's what I was raised with, in that time period. Eye level. Now, let me make something clear. When I say that's what I was raised with, I mean that time period. Lady who raised me wasn't really like that all the time. I mean, she had her moments, but she was more of a talker, let me talk to you. But that might have happened when I got a little bit older. I can't remember when I was little, but I think something in her or whatever happened with her, because I really don't know who she was. I thought I knew, but I don't know who she was, where all that whooping and shit, okay, now what? Okay. So over time things became, let's have a conversation. Sometimes it was, let's have a conversation and you still gonna get this whooping. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's, let's have a conversation. Because I remember times where like, she might be mad, I'm about to whoop this child. And then she gets talking to you. And then after we have explained what our thinking was, I remember sometimes the look on her face would be like, oh, okay. And all that anger of, I'm about to whoop your ass, would dissipate. It's gone. Okay. I understand now. This child, child is still a human being. They have thoughts of their own. And there's no need for, why would an adult expect a 5-year-old child or even a 10-year-old child to have the same reasoning? They don't. The brain has not fully developed, or it has not developed to where you are as an adult. Not saying that they don't understand when you communicate with them. That's the point. You communicate with them so they can understand. So I see. That's why that's not wise to do that. Or explain to me why you did that as opposed to just flying off the handle. But you weren't supposed to do that. Why did you do that? And sometimes, depending on the answer, makes all the difference in the world. That's the point, though. Communicate. Be open to hearing and listening. So that little boy, he was going off. I got to do this. But as opposed to me feeling like, boy, you're going to do what I tell you to do. You better come on. I ain't got time for this. I'm tired. Or whatever the case. No. I realized after watching for so many years of subbing, and I haven't been doing forever, but long enough, that this is a routine. The child has a routine, and his regular para is no longer here. He's developed a relationship with her, even if it's not a close relationship or anything. He knows her. He sees her face. He knows her. He knows her energy. He feels safe with her. He's developed a relationship with her. She's no longer here. So, let me do what it is that I know to do my morning work, because in routine there's safety. And goddamn, that's what human beings want to feel, safe. Okay. Now I see a new face. My para is not here. There are 2 new faces in the room. Not just someone taking something from my para, but my teacher isn't here. And my God, I can tell you what, with those kindergartners, if you just tell the child, the kindergartner, if they're doing something they're not supposed to do, and they won't stop if you tell them to stop, I'm going to tell your teacher, oh my Lord, the way they cry and fall out, it's like their teacher is their mother. And in a sense, she is. I mean, kindergartners, some have gone to preschool, but some, they're coming from home, and they're there all day. I don't know about nowadays. I don't know what is preschool all day. Shit, I don't know. But they're there. Their teacher is like their mother. She teaches them, she feeds them, or he, hugs on them, caters and nurtures, all of that. And they just do not want the teacher to be disappointed with them. It's like I'm going to tell your mother, oh my God, please don't tell mommy. I'm going to tell your teacher, oh my God, please. They lose it when you tell them that shit. I don't know what you mean. Can someone tell you what's happening? But anyway, and like I say, if I suspect some bullshit, then you just gonna be fucking removed, and I'm gonna hide you now because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay. Eliminate the bullshit quickly. So anyway, like I was saying, so that little boy who and then so here he is, 2 new completely different faces in the room. They're not giving a heads up. They would just walk into the room and they're two new faces. Not my regular, not my routine. So that little boy, he was tripping. I got to do this. Well, he's got to do his morning work. So, eye level, speak gently, very gentle, so that the child realizes, oh, I am safe. You might be a new face, but I'm safe. Everything is okay. Okay. And then they're open to what it is that Now let's go to your OT. Okay. Then we come back and then we'll finish our morning work. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But anyway, Like I said, if it is not fair to the child um, to not get them what it is that they need. Okay, like this person, can you tell me what type they need? Some assistance. I can't assist you, motherfucker. Anyway, all right. Oh boy, I was just listening to someone here on YouTube, very, very, um, just really inspirational. Uh, and I have seen, hold on. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so I've got a few readings I want to get out as the day goes on. And that's it. Like that person, can you tell me what's happening? I mean, that could be one of these people that, maybe something, you can call them troll, possibly, or one of these that slipped through the cracks as a child whose parents didn't get them the diagnosis that they need to assist them so they wouldn't be out here, being predatory. Okay. Seeking to victimize someone. Okay. These are the things that I'm speaking about. All right. All right. Nevertheless, I'm going to get off here and get ready to do some readings for my YouTube, maybe one for Patreon, and that's that. All right. You all have favor. Peace.